Hello everyone, welcome back to the geography period. Let us start with this thought: the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Students, in the previous period we have seen different types of soil. It was porous soil, regur or black soil, laterite soil, alluvial soil and the yellow brown soil. Till here we have finished. Now let us see what is soil erosion and degradation. The layer of soil, that is top layer of the soil, gets removed due to wind or water. This means that the soil gets eroded, that means damaged or worn away. Running water, climate and diversity in physiography are the reasons of soil erosion. Now, when the upper layer of the soil it is removed, we have seen that humus is present in the upper layer of the soil. Due to water, the flow of water and the winds, this gets removed and soil gets eroded. So, it is creating the soil erosion. Running water, climate and diversity in physiography. Physiography means geographical factors like climate, the texture of soil, the type of rock, the type of vegetation in that place, everything. So, it is physiography. So, these are the reason why soil erosion takes place. The soil quality may get lowered due to the certain reason. This is called degradation of soil. Underline this: the soil quality may get lowered due to the certain reason. This is called degradation of soil, that means low quality soil. To obtain a higher agriculture yield, that means higher agriculture crops, higher outcome, that means more and more crops, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and weedicides etc. are used. Now, fertilizers and insecticides, you know. Weedicides means where in a patch or a farm or ground, wherever unwanted plants and grass grow, they are called weeds, and sides means to kill. So, to remove these whatever chemicals are used, it is called weedicides, ज्याला आपण रानगवत म्हणतो, are used. The excessive spraying of chemicals and use of chemical fertilizers lead to the soil degradation. So, these are the reason of soil degradation. It is use of excessive fertilizers, insecticide and weedicides, and those which are chemical. Excessive irrigation draws the salts from the soil upwards and make the soil saline and then unproductive. Now, because of excessive irrigation, too much irrigation also leads to the removal of soil. Now, because of water, the soil gets mixed with the water and along with it all the minerals and salts also gets mixed with the water, and this leads that the upper layer of the soil it gets saline, that means salty. So, this is also the reason, one of the reason which leads to degradation of soil. The soil becomes unproductive. Due to the excessive use of chemical, their residues remains in the soil for many years. Now, whatever chemicals we are spraying, whatever required by the plants, it is taken by the plants and other unutilized remains there in the soil, and for years it remains there and it reduces the quality of soil. That means again the soil gets degraded. They become a threat to the existence of microorganism in the soil. So, we know very well that soil consists of various factors including the microorganism. Now, these chemicals which remain in the soil, extra chemical which are not used, they are in the soil. Now, this becomes threat, that means dhoka for the living things, that are the organisms in the soil. It leads to the lowering of humus content in the soil. So, humus consists of the living things also, the living organism. So, their presence lessens, which leads to again the degradation of soil. So, we have seen previously that wherever there is humus in large quantity, the soil is more fertile. Now, because of all these factors, the humus content in the soil also lowers, and that is why the soil degrades. plants do not get micronutrients. So these nutrients become absent in the soil and the soil quality become lowers. If the pH of the soil thus gets disturbed, it is the sign of soil degradation. Now this blue color, if the pH of the soil, pH, the full form of pH is potential of hydrogen. Now wherever there is liquid form, that means it has a content of water in it. Soil also contains water in it. So pH means potential of hydrogen. Now it tells you whether the soil is acidic or basic. In a higher classes you will study it in detail in science, but I just want to tell you in upper level that pH, if it is less than 7, it is said to be acidic, and if it is greater than 7 on the pH scale, it is said to be base. The pH scale numbers till 14. So from 1 to 7 it is acidic, and after 7 to 14 it is basic. Actually 7 is a neutral number. So in this way the pH of the soil thus gets disturbed. If it is too much acidic, then also it is degraded. So in this picture you can see the various type of soil erosion. Now soil conservation. Considering the importance of soil, it is necessary to conserve it, secure it, save it. It is necessary to protect the fertile soil of farmlands from getting washed out due to rains. So most important reason is, now though wind is also one of the reason, the rain is also the water is also the reason which leads to the wash away of the soil from the farmland. Now if you see everywhere around us, each and every part of this earth or the land is not productive. दॅट मीन्स कुठेही जाऊन आपण शेती करू शकत नाही. कुठे खूप जास्ती दगडं असतात, कुठे माती खालच्या दर्जाची असते, दॅट मीन्स इट इज डिग्रेडेड सॉइल. सो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू डू फार्मिंग एव्हरीवेअर अँड एनीवेअर because of the quality of soil. So wherever farmlands are there, that means wherever good quality fertile soil is there, we need to protect it from getting washed away. Now so soil conservation includes the work like construction of embankments. Underline this word, embankment. Embankment means a wall to stop the flow of water. असा छोटासा ओढा, भिंत बनवायची छोटीशी, so that the water is not carrying the soil, the water carrying the soil is not washed out. By constructing this small wall, it is stopped there, it is controlled. ज्याला मराठीत आपण तटबंध म्हणतो. And planting trees on them, and then the trees are planted. If you have ever been to any farm, you might have seen that whatever piece of land the farmer is possessing, around it there is a small or large holes. असं खड्डे केलेले असतात चारी बाजूने, so that when it rains the washed out soil is then drains into that holes and it is secured. अशी वाहून नाही जात ती तिथे कंट्रोल केल्या जाते. So one of the most important thing is we can do easily is planting of tree. Construction of gully plugs. Now here gully plugs, again gully plugs is not nothing but what I said right now. छोटे छोटे डॅम, असे धरणासारखे स्मॉल सॉर्ट ऑफ डॅम्स अगेन्स्ट द स्टीप स्लोप, जिथे खूप उतार असेल, टू कंट्रोल द फ्लो ऑफ water along with soil. Such works are taken up by the Department of Soil Conservation. So this department looks after the conservation of soil, and they do all such work of constructing embankments, planting trees or constructing the gully plugs. Planting trees can also control the velocity of wind. So even wind flow can be controlled because of the obstacles due to the trees which are grown. So the speed of soil is controlled, so soil erosion also can be reduced. This helps to reduce of erosion of soil by wind. The plant roots hold the soil, and this also reduces the erosion of soil. Under soil conservation, the continuous counter trenches CCT are constructed along the slope. So to conserve the soil, Another task undertaken is counter trenches. Now trenches again means deep and narrow holes which are long. You might have seen even during the wars when the soldiers need to hide, तसे लंबे लंबे खड्डे तयार करतात ते आणि त्याच्या जमिनीच्या आतमध्ये लपून राहतात. सो दोज आर द ट्रेंचेस. सिमिलरली द ट्रेंचेस खड्डे तयार केले जातात. इट इज कॉल्ड continuous counter trenches are constructed along the slope. Now why? So that when it rains or due to wind from the slope, the water is flowing with great velocity and it carries along with soil. So it is controlled. Whenever there is trenches, the water and the soil is filled in it. So it is secured from getting washed away. Construction of such trenches at different height checks the velocity of water running along the slope and hence reduce the soil erosion. The water arrested in these trenches percolates into the ground. Now whatever water, these trenches are drawn, now it is filled with water and soil. So this water is slowly arrested. Arrested means it is controlled. तिथे थांबून राहतं and then it percolates into the ग्राउंड म्हणजे झिरपणं, हळूहळू तिथेच ते पाणी आतमध्ये जमिनीत झिरपत जातं. दॅट मीन्स अगेन द वॉटर लेवल, ग्राउंड वॉटर लेवल ऑल्सो इन्क्रीजेस, द सॉइल इज ऑल्सो सिक्युअर्ड फ्रॉम गेटिंग इरोडेड. द गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र हॅज इम्प्लिमेंट watershed catchment area. So underline this, the government of Maharashtra has implement the watershed, that is catchment area development program, under which construction of embankments along the slope in rural area, introducing CCT, that means this trenches, असे trenches तयार करणं along the steep slope जिथे पहाडी इलाका आहे, are undertaken till here. Underline till undertaken. This lead to the success of the scheme, arrest water, let it percolate. Now under this what is done? Soil is also secured from getting eroded and water is also stopped, so that the groundwater, underground water level also increases. This has result in rising the groundwater level and reduce the erosion of soil. Recently the government has launched the scheme called Jal Yukta Shivar. Underline this also. The government here, the government has launched a scheme called Jal Yukt Shivar. Under this scheme, work like construction of farm bunds. Farm bunds means what I have told you, शेतीच्या चारीकडे असा खड्डा खोदला जातो. Arresting water of small streams, छोटे छोटे ओढे असतील नद्यांचे तर तिथे एम्बॅकमेंट करून त्यांना पाणी थांबवणं. Connecting the streams etc. are being carried out on large scale. It is advisable to reduce the excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticide. If organic manures, vermicompost, compost are regularly used, it helps maintaining the pH balance. That means the soil doesn't become very much acidic and it is having the good quality, it will be fertile. So because of this balance, humus will grow. Increase in the proportion of humus and retain the fertility of soil. Keeping the farmland fallow for some period and cultivating different crops alternatively is important to help to retain the fertility of soil. Now what is happening? Continuously, instead of using that soil continuously one after another, if we are taking crops, the trees are using the nutrients from the soil. So at one stage the soil becomes degraded, all the nutrients are used by the crops. So it is better that instead of taking crops one after another, for some time we should just allow the field to be as it is, so that it will get time to retain its fertility by rain, by the other dead animals, various factor which increases the fertility of soil. Also by taking various type of alternate crops, because some crops may require much fertile land, much nutrients, on the other hand other may require less nutrients. So in this way the fertility of soil, the nutrients of the soil can be secured, ते आपण जपू शकतो. So these are the ways to save the soil. Now here in this picture, this is called wire. In this way a small embankment you can see. असं एक हे बांधलं असं, इथून ओढा आहे, the water is flowing with great velocity and because of this automatically the speed is controlled. Similarly, these are the various ways of soil conservation. First is afforestation, that means planting trees, so that velocity of wind is also controlled and the roots also hold the soil. This is CCT, that is continuous counter trenches in the slopy areas, that is hilly areas. असे खड्डे केले जातात. Here also you can see the counter bund. असं पायरी सारखं आपण बघतो ना मोठ्या मोठ्या पायऱ्या. In this way it is controlled. So students, read this lesson. In next period I will give you the question answers. Thank you.